Can you hear me? Test 1, 2. Are we filming? There's actually no one here. I'm by myself. I'm just trying to be cool. This is what my studio looks like. Yeah, I know it's a lot of crap. I kind of do everything by myself here. Hey, welcome. I'm sorry I haven't put out a video in a while, but life threw me a metric crap ton of suffering this past few months, including the passing of my dad. But I'm back, and I got a video idea from a post that showed up in my Facebook feed. Someone clipped out an article from a magazine years ago where Tony Bennett was highlighting his mother Anna Benedito's famous lasagna recipe. The recipe is in the description and on my website, awarehousechef.com. If you don't know Tony Bennett, he's a famous musician who's touched the lives of many with his soulful music. My late Uncle Gus went to school with Tony Bennett and would share stories with his son Michael about how Tony was constantly getting detention for singing in the hallways because he loved the acoustics. Tony Bennett was born in Queens, New York in 1926. Growing up in an Italian-American household, he developed a deep appreciation for his mother's cooking, particularly her delicious lasagna. And it really got me thinking about my family and how tradition and culture meld together in the kitchen. And when you finally eat at someone's house who is of a strong ethnicity and you taste the culture in the food, there's something incredibly unique about it. So for Tony Bennett to put his mother's lasagna recipe on the web, the whole world to see in a magazine article, it must be spectacular. So that's what we're going to tackle today. And to add a modern twist, I'm making a gluten-free version using brown rice lasagna pasta. What drew me to this recipe was simple, classic ingredients, and one that I knew would really make this dish stand out: cinnamon. My wife Maria makes a Cyprian/Greek classic baked pasta dish known as pasticcio. She uses cinnamon in her ground beef seasoning, and it makes the dish absolutely delicious and unique. The other aspect to Anna Benedito's recipe, which sets it apart from many traditional lasagna dishes, is that she doesn't use any mozzarella. I wish I could have asked her why. Why did you not use mozzarella in your lasagna recipe? Today we're going to use organic, fresh, and/or locally sourced ingredients to make her lasagna. Organic beef, organic onions, organic tomato sauce, and organic tomato paste. Local organic eggs, organic garlic and basil from my local farmer, finely grated Pecorino Romano cheese from my local cheese shop, San Marzano plum tomatoes, organic cinnamon from Amazon, and spicy Italian sausage that's free of nitrates and preservatives with the casing removed. And this stupid yet spectacular ricotta cheese. This is the most delicious store-bought ricotta cheese I have ever tasted. It's so close to homemade that it would be tough to tell the difference, unless the homemade ricotta was made with raw milk, and even then it would be tough to tell them apart. It is miles above in flavor and texture than brands like this one. And the best part, there are no additives and fillers to thicken it, just milk, starter, and salt. So why did I call it stupid? The packaging, I don't understand it. The can has holes in the bottom. The whole thing is covered in plastic, I guess so that the water can drain out. I'm assuming it's for drainage, but there's no lid, and there's a significant amount of ricotta cheese on the top, and you have to cut the top and scoop it out, and then you have to cover it with something so it doesn't dry out. Why? Why does Calabro package their ricotta cheese like this? If the good folks at Calabro get back to me, I'll let you know. Now clearly this dish is made with traditional lasagna noodles, but I am specifically using the Jovial brand of gluten-free brown rice lasagna pasta. So many brands out there are fixated on simulating the texture and flavor of traditional wheat products. They often shove whatever it takes into their product to make that happen, and those ingredients tend to be unhealthy. I like Jovial because it's made with organic brown rice and water. That's it. Let's begin. Bring a large pot of water with some salt to a boil. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. While the water is boiling, I'm going to prepare the meat sauce. Tony Bennett's mom does something traditional. She browns the ground beef with the onions together. I guess she's using the rendered fat from the beef to provide the lipids to saute the onions. I would have sauteed the onions separately, but I'm gonna stick to her recipe. You wanna constantly stir this according to the recipe. Keep digging at the ground beef until it's broken up into particles. And you're gonna do this for about 7 to 8 minutes until the onions wilt and the ground beef turns brown. Once they're browned and wilted, you're gonna wanna take this mixture and dump it into a strainer. Set it aside so it could drain. In the same pan, you're gonna saute up the sausage with the garlic. To this beautiful spicy sausage and garlic mixture, we're gonna add the organic tomato sauce, San Marzano plum tomatoes, and the tomato paste. So we're gonna season this with salt and pepper, and I'm gonna use my Celtic sea salt, which you watch this channel, you see me use this quite often. So normally, I'm not a gadget guy. I think the less you have in your kitchen, the better, but the good folks at Peppermate sent me this pepper mill to review. An upcoming video about this pepper mill is coming, but so far I kinda like it. I made a whole other video talking about how peppercorns all taste differently, and a link to that will be available at the end of this video. The Jovial packaging suggests 2 methods for making their lasagna: no boil and boil. I don't know if there's gonna be enough liquid in this recipe to make the lasagna without boiling the noodles, but what I do know is from working with gluten-free pasta is that how long you cook it is critically sensitive. If you overcook it just a little, the pasta becomes a mushy disaster. But the packaging recommends cooking the lasagna noodles for 3 to 4 noodles at a time for 3 to 4 minutes. I'm gonna cook them closer to 3 minutes, making sure that they're very al dente. But I'm gonna set them into an ice water bath so that cooking will stop, and then I'm gonna strain them just enough to get the water off. Careful not to let them stick together. When it gets cold, it almost like thickens like you didn't cook it at all. To build the lasagna, start by spreading a thin layer of sauce in the bottom of a 10 by 15 inch lasagna pan. You top it with a quarter of the noodles in an even layer. Top with a third of the ricotta mixture, a quarter of the pecorino, and a quarter of the sauce. And repeat that for 2 more layers, 2 more times with the noodles, ricotta mixture, pecorino, and sauce. Top with the remaining noodles. Cover with the remaining sauce, sprinkle the remaining pecorino, and top with dollops of the remaining 1 cup of ricotta, and you bake it until bubbly, about 45 minutes. While that's baking, I want to take a moment to thank you for joining me on this special culinary journey replicating Tony Bennett's mother's lasagna recipe and exploring gluten-free alternatives. Here's my tip of the day. Look at cooking from a new perspective. Cooking's not just about flavors, it's about preserving tradition and creating new traditions. I hope this video inspires you to try your hand at this classic dish, whether it's the original recipe or the gluten-free option. Let me know how your version turns out in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow food enthusiasts. I'm really excited to give this a try. Let me talk a little bit about what I think probably is not going to work on this dish. I haven't tried this yet. This is the first time I made it. This is the first time I'm tasting it. I have a feeling there's just a little bit too much Pecorino Romano. 12 ounces is an awful lot. The gluten-free lasagna seems to be just about right. Nice and firm. I was so wrong. Everything is perfect. This is truly one of the most delicious lasagna recipes I've ever tasted in my life. The salt is just right. The garlic, that ricotta cheese, that's just the best. You gotta try that. The sauce is perfect. The Jovial lasagna is a little more forgiving than I thought it would be. I tried to keep it as close to 3 minutes as I could. Really wanted it to be super al dente. I probably could have left it to 4 minutes and would have been just fine. This is truly delicious. Bravo, Mrs. Benedito. Keep spreading the love through the magic of good food, and remember, the best recipes are the ones that bring people together. Cheers.